Hey guys, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's now been issued for Williamson County. This is for areas basically south of Fairview and includes Franklin and areas back to the west. So let's take a look at that here on radar. And you're looking at TBNA radar. Actually, you're not. Let me go down and get you to TBNA radar. And that is right there. So that's TBNA radar, and it's showing these bright blue colors back in western Williamson County. And this is the cause of the severe thunderstorm warning back there in Williamson County in the western part. So the strongest winds here are shown in the dark blue, and that is indicating winds up to around 63, 64 miles an hour. This will cause this is the kind of wind that'll cause some trouble with tree limbs, maybe some big trees, that kind of thing. And but it's a very localized area of strong wind that we're seeing here on radar. About to cross 840 south of the Craigfield neighborhood community out there on 840, or excuse me, that's out along Pinewood Road. And then the Pinewood Road and highway or Interstate 840 area is kind of where we're looking at the strongest winds here. So the Weather Service is noting that we're seeing the strongest winds. See, I'm sitting here looking at their notes as well, seeing 56 knots on radar at about 1,500 feet in Williamson County. So that is definitely strong enough to cause some issues. So that's what you're looking at here on radar. This is the velocity view on radar, and we are watching this very closely as it moves off to the east. So let's back out just a little bit. Let's go switch over and look at regular radar, and that way you can kind of see what's going on, get a big picture view of what's happening. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 7:45. And this warning is in effect because of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it's pushing off to the east. You just saw your updated radar frame there. And so this storm, let me turn this off. You can kind of see this yellow line here. This is kind of the track the Weather Service has drawn for the most severe part of the storm currently, and that does take it into Leapers Fork and into Franklin here over the next little bit. So let me go back to our velocity view and show those of you that are just joining us kind of what's going on. We have a couple of areas of strong enhanced winds within this storm, and that is right here, and this is along Lampley Road, this is along Barn Hill Road and Bradford Road. These are some strong winds up to about 60 miles an hour. They're about to cross 840 here in just a few minutes, and they're crossing Pinewood Road now, and the latest image is showing winds up to 65 miles an hour at about 1,500 feet off the ground. So these are generally pushing in the way or in the direction of Leapers Fork and over toward Franklin. And so we'll see how that progresses over the next few minutes. So heads up, let's go down the line here and kind of talk about who's in range of this storm. That's going to be Leapers Fork. Basically everybody along Highway 46 there. I believe that's what, Old Hillsborough Road, is that right? That goes out there through Leapers Fork and out toward the Natchez Trace area and goes into Pinewood Road. I guess it is Pinewood Road there as you go on out. So that's where the strongest winds are now, and they'll be tracking into Leapers Fork and up along kind of the Natchez Trace area, Old Highway 96. It's going to be Parker's Branch Road there as well, crossing areas eventually like Blazer Hill Road and coming on into Franklin. So the warning covers over to about I-65 there in Franklin, and then off to the east you've got areas like Nolensville eventually down the road that could see the strongest winds. We'll just have to see if it makes it there, but that's kind of what we're looking at this point. So there again you can see the winds. There's our latest image, and we're still looking at winds up to about 61 miles an hour. 62, 63 miles an hour up there at about 1,500 feet. It's crossing Pinewood Road now. They're around Pewitt Road. All right, so that's where the strongest wind is there right now. Is right at Pinewood Road and Pewitt Road. Right now, and that's pushing off to the east. All right, let's check the polygon here. Let's go to our traditional radar, and we're going to look and see where the heaviest rain is and where this is all going. Now, this is basically a Williamson County problem. Those of you up in Metro may see some of these heavy rains up here on the north side of this line here in just a little bit, but that is currently non-severe. The severe part of the storm is all down in Williamson County, and in fact, they've trimmed the warning to even take out Hickman County there, so it's all just a Williamson County problem for the next little bit. This warning does expire at 7:45, I believe. I'm double checking that. Yep, 7:45. So warning expires at 7:45. So this pushes off the east toward I-65. Whether they will extend this and go on into Nolensville, Triune, Arrington, Brentwood, areas like that, or parts of Brentwood are included now. There's the southwestern corner, but whether it goes east, we'll just have to see. Let me take off this white polygon. This is a significant weather advisory that's been out for quite some time now as these storms move through. I'll take that off just so we can see a little bit better what's going on. The lightning, let's take a look at the lightning. Just got some very strong winds in Santa Fe down in Murray County. All right, that's good to know. That's down here in the northwestern part of Murray County, and that's very close to the area that we were looking at possibly getting some strong winds in Williamson County too. So no doubt probably getting some strong winds when this comes through all up and down the line. So let's go over to velocity here real quick. Let's go back over here. This is really where we're watching, because this is a severe thunderstorm warning that's built around a high velocity of wind. All right, so not really many hail concerns with this. I'm gonna go back just to be sure and look at the warning here, but it doesn't look like this warning is for, this is for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So we can just pretty much stick with the velocity here and be able to tell how the storm is progressing as it pushes off to the east toward Leapers Fork and Franklin. So, hey, let me say this. If you are outside, or you know somebody that's outside in Franklin, they may not be quite aware of what's going on yet. Their phone may have buzzed with this warning going off or something, but you may want to give them a heads up, because if they're outside, if they're walking, if they're jogging on a path or a greenway or something, or they're just outside doing something, not really paying attention, this storm's going to kind of come on them pretty quick. All right, so when it starts, let's look at the velocities here. There's not a lot of green and blue out ahead of it, so I mean, when it hits, and it hits hard. So that's kind of what the people outside need to know, and they need to go ahead and head on in, especially since you're under a severe thunderstorm warning in a good part of Franklin, at least all over to I-65. Okay, but if you're outside, even not under a warning, and you're east of the storm, you need to go on head on in, because there is lightning being dropped all over the place because of this. Okay, let's go back over to velocities here, and we're gonna kind of check this out as it moves east. You can see a lot of the blues there, and then the blues have sort of disappeared. They haven't completely gone away, but they are rapidly diminishing, and that would indicate that the winds are maybe relaxing a little bit. Wouldn't let guard down, especially since the warning is still out, but the winds do seem to be relaxing according to radar data there at TB&A. Now, if we go up one elevation in the radar scans, go up about 2,700 feet, we're still looking at winds up 50, 60 miles an hour up there. So we'll just have to see if those translate to the ground as it pushes off to the east. But there's a lot of trees out here, a lot of trees, hills, hollows, and with the way the houses are out here and kind of have a lot of trees around, you can have a tree problem in a hurry when you get winds like this come through. So that's why we want to definitely give you the heads up that this is on its way. But my biggest concern is people that are outside over in Franklin, all the way up and down Lewisburg Pike and Hillsborough Road, and all up and down through Franklin, that may just not know this is coming. So got a decent storm coming in here in the next few minutes. Okay, let's go back to velocities. Let's do kind of a big picture view here real quick. And as I mentioned, kind of who's in and who's out on this warning. Davidson County, you are not included in this warning here. Here you are up here in Metro. You're not included in this. You'll get some lightning and heavy rain, especially on the south part of the county, as this part of the storm over in Dixon County pushes east over the next little bit. So downtown probably get a downpour, and looks like everybody's going to get a little bit of rain out of this at least, all the way up I-65 and 24 in Davidson County. Moving on down I-65, you get into Williamson County. That's where you get into the severe thunderstorm warning here. That's basically from Brentwood, really all the way down Williamson County, back to the west of I-65. Okay, so that's in effect till 7:45, and we will see how it progresses, whether it weakens, strengthens, stays the same. We'll just have to see once it gets to about Franklin. We'll see, definitely what they're going to do with this warning as it approaches 7:45, which is when it expires. All right, so that's kind of who's in and who's out. Nolensville, you're not included yet, but you do got a storm on the way unless it just completely falls apart, which, the atmosphere is not quite as conducive over here to the east, so we'll see if they do weaken on their way to the east. Triune down here at the old four-way stop. Not really four-way stop anymore. It's a red light down there. You're not included. 840 there east of I-65, not included yet. But again, there are some storms heading in, even if you're not getting one right now. Back over to velocities. Leapers Fork probably getting some good winds right now, especially out to the west along Pinewood Road. You see a lot of lightning strikes there. Most of those are cloud-to-cloud lightning strikes. Some of those are cloud-to-ground, but quite a few cloud-to-cloud strikes being indicated here. So it is pretty noisy storm, just even up above your heads. And winds still being indicated around 53 miles an hour or so. So radar is coming down on the velocities. So that's a good thing. But then every once in a while you get kind of these little clusters of wind that just pop up, like this one here around Garrison Springs. So, 55, 56 miles an hour. All right, so let's go back up to the north here, and back up to the north even. You see that there's even a pocket here that's developing of some strong winds that's not currently included in the warning. That's over here northwest of Fairview. So right here in this kind of real small area around I-40 that goes through, the part of I-40 that goes through Williamson County, if you know where that is, around the Highway 96 exit. That's the Fairview exit there on I-40. Right there in Williamson County. So there's some strong winds being indicated there by TBNA as well. And those are up in 50, 54, 55 mile an hour range on TBNA. So we'll have to see if that holds together or strengthens as well. But basically what I'm saying is they're in Fairview, especially off to the north, around, see this road's going to be, it's going to be CCC Road, Goodard Road. Anyway, up there, right. In fact, it's right on top of the Highway 96 I-40 exit there. So pretty strong gusty winds. Could be on the order of 50 to 60 miles an hour there as well. Not currently included in the severe thunderstorm warning, but nonetheless could be pretty gusty. All right, so basically all up and down the line here, kind of circling around here right at the Cheatham-Williamson border, all the way down to the southern part of the county, could get some gusty winds with it. Still some pretty strong pockets around 58 miles an hour on Beechwood Plantation, Sweeney Hollow Road, back there that's just south of Leapers Fork, and Highway 46 there. That's going to be an area of some enhanced wind as well. So just don't be surprised if you live in Williamson County, maybe even southwestern Davidson County, if you get some really pretty good gusts of wind come through when this storm hits. Don't be surprised about that. That would be to be expected with this storm. Back over to this would be the reflectivity. Kind of show you the cloud to ground lightning strikes. Quite a few of those. You see all these dots. I know it's hard to see on your screen, and I wish I could make these dots bigger, but I can't. But all these dots here, basically from 840 north through Fairview, a lot of lightning up there. So you definitely don't want to be outside. If you're anywhere in Williamson County that hasn't been hit by these storms yet, just heads up, you'll want to head inside for sure. Okay, let me check on some weather service notes here, and not seeing anything lately that they have said here in the past 10 minutes or so. So it appears that they're going to continue this warning, at least for the time being. And again, this was for 60 mile an hour winds or stronger, and winds even perking up a little bit more here around south of Leapers Fork. So 57, 58, 59 miles an hour up there around 1,000 feet. So yeah, we're definitely not done with it. Now, is everybody going to get strong, damaging winds? No. This is not one of these widespread wind damage events that we've had before. This looks like some fairly spotty wind damage possible with this warning. But nonetheless, pretty much everybody from Fairview down to Thompson Station is included. All right, looking at a couple of notes here. Excuse me. Let's go back over here to reflectivity, because I want to show you kind of who's going to get this storm. For those of you that have just joined us, I'm just over here looking at your comments. Apologize for that. Says, do I have time frame? Think it'll reach Brentwood probably around the 7:45 range, probably another 20 minutes or so. Now, Brentwood's one of those towns that's kind of stretched out east to west and not so much north to south. So, if you live back over there in the west side of Brentwood, Murray Lane, Hillsborough Road, that kind of thing, you're going to be getting this storm a lot earlier than folks over in, Liberty Church Road and Owl Creek Park and all that over on the east side. So, Brentwood comes all the way kind of over to here. So if you live over here, probably in the next 15 minutes or so, if you live over here in Brentwood, probably another 20-25. Best guess. Let's back this up just a little bit, see how it's progressing just rain-wise. Looks like it's holding its own. I don't know, maybe a few less reds than there were, but not a ton. I tell you, the heaviest rain's up here in southern Cheatham County, right on the Cheatham-Williamson border. And that's an area up there where we're definitely seeing some enhanced winds. And that's up there kind of between Fairview and I-40 up there. And that looks to me like a fairly strong part of this storm. And I'll throw velocities up there so you can see what I'm looking at. This area of the storm seems to be pretty strong up here between Fairview and the county line up toward the interstate. So if you live, let's just call it over in Davidson County, like you got Brush Creek over there near Fairview, you got Highway 96 and Highway 100, the Pasco area, Bellevue Highlands, Horseshoe Bend, those areas over there in southwestern Davidson County. You may get a pretty good storm too as far as these winds go. These winds are pretty gusty. At least according to radar there around Fairview and just north. So not technically included in the warning, but it's going to be a decent storm come through there if that holds together. Timeline for Nolensville, probably, let's see, I'm just going to go look back on previous tweets here because I put up a ETA just a little bit ago, and let me just, it probably hasn't changed a whole lot. Nolensville there was at 7:45. That probably still seems right, but I tell you, it slowed down a little bit. It may be closer to 8 for Nolensville. It has slowed down some. Let's just call it somewhere between 7:45 and 8 for Nolensville. Significant weather advisory coming out now for Davidson, northeastern Marshall, Rutherford, northeastern Murray, Williamson, western Wilson. They're doing a huge significant weather advisory here. Not a warning, but a significant weather advisory, and that's going to cover, you won't see it pop up on my map, but that'll cover kind of these storms coming in that would be sub-severe but still pretty strong. All right, let's go over and look at reflectivities again. Warning still hanging around if you're just joining us. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45 here in Williamson County. And no problem, Andrew. Glad to help. So we're under a severe thunderstorm warning here in Williamson County over to I-65. That's in effect until 7:45. That's for the threat of 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And I'll mention it again. If you live over in Franklin or you got somebody outside in Franklin running around, and if you got... I just saw our logo pop up. Oh, sorry, Liam. I didn't know what that was. I saw our logo there. When will this reach Mount Juliet? Well, we don't cover over there into Wilson County, but I just a guess that'd probably be about an hour or so. But I couldn't tell you. I haven't timed that out. But this strongest part of the storm here right now is over here in southern Cheatham County. So I tell you, those of you guys in southwestern Davidson County are going to get a strong storm. It just may not be severe. And it is not currently warned, but it's going to be a pretty decent storm as it comes through Pasco and even Bellevue and maybe Forest Hills. And that's the case all the way down toward Thompson Station. All right, so let's go back to the reflectivities here where you're looking at and show you that strongest part of the storm. It looks like the Weather Service is continuing that severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County. They're going to keep that going in effect until 7:45. Haven't indicated whether they will extend that or not, but they are keeping it going until 7:45. So strongest weather now between Kingston Springs down through Fairview, especially the eastern parts of Fairview, Natchez Trace Bridge, approaching Sullivan Farms there on the southern side of Franklin. It's gone through Boston down in southwestern Williamson County and pushing off to the east all the way down to Spring Hill. Weather Service is noting that TBNA radar is still showing around 50 knots in the warning at around 950 feet. So they're going to keep this thing going based on that. They're watching these velocities like we are, same radar, and they're showing winds of around 50 knots still going. And they kind of pop up and go away. And so it's kind of hard to let the warning go and cancel it, and then these pockets of wind pop up again. So they're keeping it going here for around Leaper's Fork and for Franklin. I think I was mentioning just a second ago, if you know somebody in Franklin that doesn't know this is coming, let me go back to the reflectivity and kind of show you. If you know somebody that's outside in Franklin, maybe running on the greenway, running down the sidewalk, or out on a bike ride or something, please give them a call. This is definitely going to catch them off guard if they don't know what's coming. I mean, they need to know what's coming here. Very strong wind, probably some gusty winds, or very strong rain, probably some gusty winds. Kind of see how this stronger area of rain is bowed out here. Tells me there might be kind of a rear inflow jet or something pushing in here, kind of pushing this rain out and bowing it. So I don't know that, but it's kind of what we see when we see these winds come back around the back side of the storm and just bow this thing out and push it out. So we'll just have to see. We'll see how Franklin folks fare in this, and they'll let us know, I'm sure, if there's any strong wind with this as it comes in. It's going to come right through there in Franklin, especially down to the south. So we'll look for reports. Hey, speaking of reports, the best way to send reports to the Weather Service is just send a tweet with, if you have a picture, that's fine, of storm damage. If there's something to report, just tweet. You don't have to tweet at us or anything. It's fine if you do, but just tweet and include your location, your report, picture, if you can safely do all of that, and just use the hashtag TSpotter. TSPOTTER in your tweet, and we'll get that. We've got a column pulled up on our software. I mean, that pops right into our stuff, so we see it as soon as you send it. And if it's something the Weather Service needs to know about, we'll send it right to them. So be sure to do that if you have a report to send out. Looks like the strongest winds now are still out here around Fairview and just to the east, kind of not quite to Fernvale, but just east of Fairview. About to cross Old Harding Road, and actually Fernvale's down here to the south, so kind of north of Fernvale is kind of where we're seeing the strongest winds, kind of approaching the Natchez Trace Bridge there and Highway 96 as it gets close to Highway 100. So some pretty gusty winds there, looking at around 57, radar shows about 57 miles an hour up to about 1,000 feet, so that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong, and a little bit less down here to the south. I'm going up in elevation here, so it's going to brighten up a little bit, but we're seeing some strong winds up around 3,700 feet here in southern Williamson County. We'll just have to see how this evolves, but velocities have definitely come down there south of Franklin. We'll just have to see if that holds together. We got some folks that are going to be sending us some reports as this comes into Franklin, and they're about to get it, so we'll see what they say as this comes through. Some reports back in Hickman County, the winds weren't quite as strong. We hope that's the case here, but looks like some pretty cool pictures coming in. I'm over here looking on Twitter, and this is looks like a great shelf cloud coming in. So if you looks like a pretty cool shelf cloud coming in. It looks pretty ominous, but the shelf cloud in itself is not bad. But the storm is considered severe for wind down here in Williamson County. Okay, let's go over and check velocities again. Kind of bouncing back and forth here because this is a severe thunderstorm warning that is kind of built around the whole premise of there being 60-mile-an-hour winds that were evident on radar. And so we kind of, go over here and check the radar and see kind of how that's going, and to analyze the threat to Williamson County here. So it looks like winds still about 56 miles an hour, especially up there around Russell Road. That's going to be over near Big East Fork Road and Bedford Creek Road near the Natchez Trace Bridge area. So again, if you're out that way, a lot of hills and trees and stuff out there. So the trees can take so much of the really strong wind when it really gets going, and we've had our fair share of that over the past several weeks for sure. And so hopefully everything that is still standing is pretty strong because it's had a workout. Okay, so let's go up to the north and check velocities up to the north. And not seeing anything too strong up to the north. That's a good thing. Basically, from Bellevue to the south is where the strongest winds are going to be. Getting a lot of pictures coming in now, especially from Spring Hill, of the shelf cloud coming through there. Again, the shelf cloud in itself is not dangerous, but it does look cool. So we'll just see the pictures as they come in. Pretty cool pictures, actually. I wish I could show them. I don't have it pulled up here on the computer to show you, but they're on our Twitter feed. Okay, so let's talk about this severe thunderstorm warning just a little bit. Assuming these winds are doing what we think they're doing, still some pretty strong winds out there. They're kind of crossing Highway 96, coming into like Sullivan Farms area, Henpeck Lane, Keystone, Polk Place, Forest Crossing, Red Wing Farms, Williamson County Fairgrounds, downtown Franklin, areas like that. That'd be Jim Warren Park out there. So that's where the strongest winds are coming into right now. Pushing off to the east, the warning stops at about I-65, and so it expires at 7:45. So we'll see how that evolves, whether the Weather Service will extend the warning off to the east in Williamson County. That would likely include Nolensville, College Grove, Page High School, McKay's Mill, those areas. It does not right now. So sometime between now and 7:45, the Weather Service will make that call on what to do. They may just cancel the warning. It may just completely go away. We'll just have to see. But right now, that's what we're looking at. All right, let's go over, if you're wondering when it's going to start raining at your place, let's go over and look. This is the strongest wind coming into downtown Franklin now. Strongest rain, rather. I don't know if I said wind, but probably the wind too. But strongest rain now coming into downtown Franklin, Sullivan Farms. About to cross, that's going to be Lewisburg Pike, Columbia Pike there. Crossing Lewisburg Pike right now. And then off to the northwest, you go out Hillsborough Road. I don't have those roads labeled. Hillsborough Road goes out of Franklin to the northwest. So Hillsborough Road there is where the strongest rain is about to cross over. Eventually we'll go over and cross Franklin Road as well. But still some heavy rain back even in western Williamson County. So, it could rain a good bit there in Williamson County. You're going to get your dose of heavy rain for a while. Still quite a few pictures coming in of the seeing some pictures of dinner coming in off the grill in Williamson County as well. People getting that done as quickly as they can, getting the dinner off the grill. Hopefully you made it. So let's talk about who's next for the rain. The storm looks to be coming down in intensity even as far as rain goes there around Lewisburg Pike. So not seeing quite as many reds around there. That's probably a good thing. Hopefully the velocities have come down too around there, because they were strong earlier. So Nolensville's off to the east. You got Clovercroft Road here. You got Nolensville Pike, goes down to College Grove, turns into Horton Highway. So we'll see once the storms get there. We'll see if they're still holding together their severe characteristics. Not seeing that really on radar. Going over to radar, it looks like the velocities have really come down. We're seeing winds, in the 45 mile an hour range, even the 30 mile an hour range there in Franklin, but really just hardly seeing anything over 40. So that's great. Have any of the local lakes or rivers overflowed? Nope, not that I'm aware of. Once you hit springtime, it really helps because the ground can soak up a lot of water. So I'm not aware of any lakes or rivers that are overflowing at all. Everything, I was checking the lakes and that sort of thing earlier. Very manageable. They're near normal levels, it looks like. So everything looking good as far as the creeks and rivers go at this point. All right, 30 miles an hour. I'm really just having a hard time finding a 40. There's a 47 up there around the Natchez Trace Bridge. So the strongest wind looks to be up here on the very northern part of the warning. Excuse me. Sorry for jerking it around there. Natchez Trace Bridge. This is going to be 52 miles an hour up there. So it could be pretty strong south of Bellevue, between Bellevue and Leapers Fork. Could be some pretty strong wind there. But hopefully, it looks like the velocities come down around Franklin. Let's hope that's the case. All right. So if you're wondering if it's about to rain at your place, here's I-65 in the blue. If you live east of I-65, the rain is still yet to get to you. If you live west of I-65 around Fairview, the rain will be getting lighter with time, but it's going to take a couple hours. Franklin, you're right in the thick of it all the way up to Brentwood. and down to the south. So again, hey, if you're just joining us, if you just jumped in here, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 7:45, and this is for Williamson County, and this is for basically western Williamson County. So really I-65, excuse me, back to the west, and really basically just those areas from like the Natchez Trace Bridge down to Leapers Fork and off to the east. That's where the strongest wind and rain currently is. Let's go back over to velocities here. Still pretty strong velocities. Could be a pocket of some pretty strong wind here around around Highway 96, just right around in the area of the Natchez Trace Bridge. And I kind of go between the bridge and up toward Temple Hills. What is that right there? That's the Natchez Trace Parkway. So could be some strong winds there across the parkway here in the next 10 minutes or so. And really that looks to be the strongest winds I see on velocity right now. I'm going to go look at the Nashville radar. It doesn't have as good of a read. This is the radar at the National Weather Service office. And it doesn't have as good of a read on the direction the storm is going, but not seeing anything there either that's really concerning. So what we're hoping is this is on the downward trend. Now, if I go up in elevation here, right here around, going up in elevation, right around, let's say 3,700 feet, and there's still winds up around 60 miles an hour right over the Natchez Trace Bridge. That's over your heads out there. That's about 4,000 feet up. But that's to say that, you could get some downdraft winds that come down, down to the ground from that elevation, because the winds are blowing 60 miles an hour up there. And so if that were ever to make it to the ground, this would be the area where it would happen, kind of right up here around Cottonwood, Whitehall Farms, West Haven, Natchez Trace Bridge. That's where the strongest winds aloft are hanging out. Now down at the ground, they're not there according to radar. So that's good at this point, but that could change. Doesn't look like the storm coming through Franklin really had a ton of wind with it. Seeing here from your reports, pretty windy here in Thompson Station. Crazy lightning in Spring Hill. Rain is slowed. How bad it's going to be for East Nashville. Let me go look at East Nashville right quick, because we've been focusing on Williamson County. East Nashville looks like you could get some heavy rain. Non-severe at this point, but maybe some thunder and lightning and heavy rain. But it's going to be close. You'll probably get some heavy rain, but most of it's going to be to your south. So if you get some, it probably won't last all that long. All right. Looking at velocities again. Yeah, the Weather Service acknowledging they're seeing velocities come down as well on TBNA radar. So yeah, velocity is definitely coming down on radar scans. So that's good. Now you have some strong winds. Yeah, looks so far to be subsevere at this point. What we're seeing on radar looks to be subsevere as it pushes east. So not looking like currently there being severe winds heading for places like I-65, McKay's Mill. What we're seeing on radar right now does not look like it will be that. That could change quickly, but right now we're not seeing that. Lightning, yes, there will be lightning. Let's see, Tanya asked that question. Yeah, we are looking at lightning. Let me go over here and show you here. This is looks like even lightning has come down a little bit. So there's still a lot of cloud-to-cloud lightning, but the cloud-to-ground strikes have actually come down pretty significantly in the past 15 minutes or so. So a couple of strikes up here in the strong storm area back west of Bellevue, but really not seeing really hardly any cloud-to-ground strikes in the past few minutes in Williamson County. Closest one was, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes ago, but in the past 5 minutes or so they've come down. All right, so we got just a couple of minutes. We're going to see what the Weather Service does here with this warning there in Williamson County. So let's go back over to velocities, take one more look at those, and we'll kind of see what's going on. If you live in Nolensville, down in Burke Hollow, down in Bellchase Farms, Trinity, Nestledown Farms, Arrington, Triune, you guys are going to get some strong winds probably. It looks sub-severe on the radar, and the radar's got a pretty good look at this. So it's showing winds at about 40 max if it's got a good read on it. So it's a fairly good read. So it's looking at winds maybe 40, maybe 50. But that's still sub-severe. It takes 58 to get a severe storm. So Weather Service is talking about a line down south of us, and they're saying this storm down here in Murray County, about to enter Marshall, really is the best looking one right now, as far as kind of the strongest one. And down here in Lawrence County, another strong storm down there. Our storm up here in Williamson County is it's raining a lot. It's the wind's blowing some, but it doesn't look like the strongest right now. So we'll see if that trend continues. I'll go over here and show you that. So this is what I was looking at. So the strong storm here in Murray County pushing into Marshall. Could have some hail with it actually down that way. And then down to Lawrenceburg as well. So pretty strong storms down there. Ours up here looks like it has weakened some, especially this bow. Doesn't look quite as impressive as it did a little bit ago. Still some strong winds up there north of Franklin. Looks like the warning is going away. So it's expiring at 7:45. So we think the severe thunderstorm warning is being allowed to expire. We'll wait for it to disappear here, but I believe it did on my other radar display. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. And thanks for joining us here as we've been covering the severe thunderstorm warning in Williamson County, and there it has disappeared now. So at 7:45, the warning has expired. So expect some heavy rain, expect some lightning. Expect maybe some gusty winds, but for right now, it looks like the severe weather threat for Williamson County has gone down. So we'll jump back on if that changes, and hope you have a good evening.